On ESPN Radio and on ESPNU.
Dak's situation has more to do with our situation than with the merits of Dak Prescott.
I stopped listening to things that he says to the media a long time ago.
Unless the Cowboys come and make the Godfather offer, he's going to free agency.
And that offer will not be coming down this week. If Dak knows what's good for him, he'll wait until free agency before he engages in any contract talks, whether it's with the Cowboys or another team looking for his services. It's on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Courtney Cronin, Keith Irizarry sitting in for Evan Canty and Michelle on this Labor Day Monday. Only 3 days from when the regular season starts in the NFL. That is the Chiefs and the Ravens. The Cowboys playing the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, September 8th. That is in the 4 p.m. window, America's game of the week. We'll get to see Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, this team that's trying to bounce back from another early postseason loss in the first round, wild card round. They give up 48 points, Keith, hoping that they can right the ship here. But there's a lot at stake for the Dallas Cowboys that we have been talking about ad nauseum for the last couple of months. But this is finally the week where the contract talk gets put to bed, because we know that this is not going to come up in the middle of the season, if and when it does at all, because that's just not how Jerry Jones does business.
You know what, though? The Dallas Cowboys stayed relevant this entire offseason because of Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, as they always seemingly do. This is a Dallas Cowboys organization that I think is at a crossroads, right? And you look at some of the greatest organizations in all of sports, right? The New York Yankees have not won a World Series since 2009. When the Dallas Cowboys last won a Super Bowl, I was a young, spry ninth grader, 10th grader, 11th, whatever it was, like a full head of hair, life ahead of me, all that kind of stuff, right? The Dallas Cowboys are at a crossroads. They need to figure out what the future is. Are they going to continue to be an 11 or 12 win team, and they've won 12 games and it's what they do, and then they flounder in the postseason? Or can they actually make a run in the playoffs? And part of that is going to rest on the shoulders of Dak Prescott. And maybe this will be the scorched earth season for Dak Prescott, and he throws for 5,000 yards, and CeeDee Lamb catches 100. I'm going all off the board here. 130 passes, and Ezekiel Elliott will end up scoring 12 rushing touchdowns and turn back the clock a little. And Rico Dowdle is suddenly a stud, and Micah Parsons ends up with 15. Like, I can go on and on with all these numbers. I don't know if any of that is going to happen. If I go by the history, they're going to win 11 or 12 games. Maybe they win a first-round game in the wild card round. And the next thing you know, they lose. And then we're going to spend an offseason going, should Mike McCarthy be fired? Should they re-sign Dak Prescott? And then it's, I think in hour one you said wash, rinse, repeat. I think that's what you said. We could do it for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, this is the same song and dance every single offseason, but this is the one where it finally feels like it's coming to a head, right? Like, Jerry Jones told us all offseason that he wants to wait this thing out. He wants to be methodical, at least in his mind, with negotiations. They end up signing CeeDee Lamb to a contract extension last week. Yet we're sitting here on September 2nd, wondering if Dak Prescott's going to get done this week. I say no. Peter Burns, my co-host on Best Week Ever on Sunday mornings on ESPN Radio, we have a bet that we started, a friendly wager, mind you, that came into play last Tuesday, I believe, when the Lamb deal came down when we were hosting on Sportsmanlike. And it's Tuesday, 1:15 p.m. Eastern time. If Dak Prescott does not sign by then, one of us has to do karaoke on air on our Sunday show, which should be great because I can't wait to hear Peter do Ironic by Alanis Morissette. I'm saying hammer the over. He has absolutely no incentive to sign this deal right now as we turn the page towards the season, because he's got, no matter what happens this year, barring any sort of like catastrophic injury, but even then he got hurt in 2020 and still ended up getting paid the following year after they used that franchise tag as a placeholder. This is not going to get done this week. We can finally start turning our attention to where the Cowboys go this season, which now that this is all done, more or less, the idea that you can put all of these distractions behind you. You can focus on the season ahead, whether it ends up as a catastrophic failure or a team that gets to the Super Bowl, that does what Jerry Jones thought they could do if he puts a little bit of pressure on this team, with the Mike McCarthy going into a lame duck year, Dak Prescott going into the final year of his contract. They did pay CeeDee Lamb, so at least they got one of those things done. But as you try to forecast this and you look at their schedule, I mean, they start out the season against Cleveland on Sunday afternoon. They're playing out in Cleveland. Then it's the Saints. Then it's the Ravens, the New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Detroit Lions before their bye week. It's not the worst schedule in the world for the first 6 weeks of the season, but I can't think of anything other than this team collapsing in catastrophic fashion, considering what has been the storyline around them this offseason and all of the self-inflicted storylines that don't just go away. I hate that arrogance within these NFL teams, that any sort of contract disputes, guys not being there at practice during training camp, all of the pressure that's on them, that all of a sudden you can just wash that away and say, hey, it's the regular season, go out and win games, and act like this last 6 months didn't happen. That is so unrealistic to me, Keith. And I feel like the Cowboys are going to try to tell us that that's their mindset and that's truly what's going to play out this year, when it could not be further from the truth.
Yeah, that's like, you ever been on like a vacation where you meet a couple and they were arguing before the vacation? There's still, it just doesn't go away because, we're on an island. No, like there's still something underlying there that bothers them. The Dallas Cowboys, all of their issues will still be there. Ultimately, again, I they have the 11th easiest schedule in the NFL. They're over under a set of 10.5 wins. They probably get 11 or 12. The disappointing part would come in the postseason. But I really think that everyone watching and listening right now, put Courtney back on the screen, please, with me. Like, we need to double back to this. Like, Dallas Cowboys are fun and all, but if you and Peter are going to have this bet about karaoke, you said he would get stuck singing Ironic Alanis Morissette.
He threw that out there. So
what's
now
your song choice?
I have no idea. He was going to pick for me, so that was what I was going to pick for him. Because he threw out the idea about all the different octave changes and thought it would be a very difficult song. So naturally, I'm like, all right, that would be the one that I pick for you, that I will be picking for you when you lose this bet, because there's just no incentive for Dak Prescott to get something done this week. Like, I want to hear from Dak really quick, because the I don't want to call it a war of words, but it's just like the back and forth. Jerry talking in front of the media, any chance he gets in front of an open mic, he's going to be asked about this. But here's what the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys had to say when asked about how much stock he takes in what his owner's saying about his own contract situation.
How do you feel about Jerry said the negotiation isn't about your merit as the Cowboys quarterback, but more about their cap situation? What do you take from that when he says, it's not really about what you're doing?
Yeah, I understand that. That's the business and the nature of this game that we play. I stopped, honestly, listening to things that he says to the media a long time ago. So it doesn't really hold weight with me.
See, that was said sort of in jest, a little tongue-in-cheek, but also a lot of truth in that from Dak Prescott, that you can't take stock in what your owner says when you have an owner who gets out in front of an open mic any chance that he can, Keith. And does that play into, as you project this thing out, does that bode well for the Dallas Cowboys, that this is all going to be fine when the season rolls around? Or do you feel like it has a better shot of becoming an extreme disappointment, given how they set themselves up for this offseason by just the amount of pressure that's on this team? If you don't get past a certain point, which to Jerry has to be the NFC Championship, if you don't get there, then he's deeming that not worthy of keeping certain pieces in place here. How could you possibly perform under that sort of pressure where it's NFC Championship or bust? And by bust, meaning that this roster looks completely different next year, and a lot of these key pieces are elsewhere.
See, I think what's interesting about this from a Dak standpoint is I would actually say there's not as much pressure on him, because if he puts up his numbers, he is going to get paid in the offseason. And the way his agent will be able to spin this to whatever team would end up signing him is, hey, look, he was in a toxic, this is what the agent would do. The agent would say he was in a toxic environment in Dallas where he had an owner that was undermining him, literally spin it, had a coach that hadn't won since he had Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay one time, and had a wide receiver holding out and didn't have a running game, yet he still threw for X amount of yards and still did this and still did that. Bring him into your organization, and then you spit it forward saying all the great things about insert team that he'd be signing with. And my guy, Dak, will take you to the promised land. So I actually think there's maybe a little bit less pressure on Dak Prescott. From a Cowboy standpoint, there's pressure on the team because they can't keep falling short. But Dak Prescott, unless he is absolutely horrific this year, he's going to get a boatload of money. As the young kids would say, he's going to get the bag.
I agree with that, but answer me this. What's more likely for the Cowboys this season? A great season or a disappointing one? Because it feels like everything is teetering on the disappointing edge in such force because of what the owner is doing, to where at this point next year, or even before that, if we're looking at March, we're all going to be blaming Jerry Jones if they have a disappointing season, right? I don't think anybody's going to look at Mike McCarthy or look at Dak Prescott or look at any other of the key pieces on this team and say, well, it's their fault that it didn't pan out. The owner's the easiest scapegoat here because he's always running his mouth about other people and what they're doing or not doing. Yes, he pulls the purse strings here, but he also puffs his chest out that he can do this job as an owner, GM, president, emperor, king, whatever other title he wants, that he can do it better than anybody else. Jerry's the reason that this is set up as such a pressure cooker. Why would you put your people, if this is a year that has to be a prove it year, why would you add even more pressure and make that environment even more tenuous than it already is in nature of it being a win now season?
I don't know him personally, but my take has always been that Jerry Jones, just wants to be in the limelight. He loves it, and he'll act like he doesn't, but he loves it. He doesn't view this as putting pressure on this organization, or maybe he does, but this is fun for him. He's a, billionaire. He's got all the money in the world, and everyone will tell you he's an extremely intelligent businessman. But from a football standpoint, yeah. When's the last time that they truly, truly mattered in a playoff sense? Mm-hmm. When Jimmy Johnson was coaching them, and then Barry Switzer took over the next year, and I know he won, but it was with all Jimmy Johnson's guys. Jerry Jones is still living off I need to prove that it was me that built this organization and not any of the coaches. Yeah,
it's been 30-something years since they've won a Super Bowl. And, disappointing, there's different categories of it. What you deem successful in the eyes of Jerry Jones is an NFC championship. What you would deem disappointing would be another 12-win season in the regular season and then going to the playoffs and not getting very far. I just feel like the latter is bound to happen. It's not just a matter of what this roster looks like. It's all of the ancillary stuff that has been lobbed onto the Dallas Cowboys. It doesn't just go away because you want it to go away and because the regular season is just days away, with them opening up against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. They're a hot ticket. They will be a hot ticket this season. Hot Ticket brought to you by Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Get great deals on the hottest seats. Experience it live on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Also, right now on ESPN2. Courtney Cronin, Keith Irizarry sitting in for the guys this morning. One person thinks Dabo Swinney is being incredibly selfish following Clemson's brutal loss in week 1 of college football. We'll tell you all about that coming up next here on Unsportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.
The countdown to kickoff rolls on.
Steam, touchdown!
Oh, give me everything you got!
Only 3 days until the NFL's opening night.
Time for some football, baby!
The countdown rolls on right here on ESPN Radio.
NFL Week 1 is here. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME. That's code OUTCOME for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. And get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium on us. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Urbana Park District invites you to get fit for free. Fitness classes all summer at Meadowbrook Park. Each Saturday, free yoga in the park starting at 9 a.m. On select Saturdays, free Zumba in the park starting at 10:30. And on select Tuesdays, free Tai Chi starting at 6:30 p.m. All classes are at Meadowbrook Park in the Garden Pavilion, and all ages and abilities are welcome. Meet new friends, bring friends to these classes, and enjoy. For details, visit urbanaparks.org.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
What is most important in your life? This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Whether you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that can help clients like you realize your goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Attention drivers. When it comes to your car, trust matters. That's why savvy drivers choose PDR Automotive for top-notch service and unbeatable quality. From routine maintenance to complex repairs, their team of expert technicians has the skill and experience to keep your vehicle running smoothly. At PDR Automotive, customer satisfaction is their priority, and they won't rest until your car is back on the road performing at its best. Visit PDR Automotive in Urbana today, family-owned and operated for more than 50 years. They're what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
When you're buying a battery, it's important to look beyond just the price and make sure you're buying a quality battery. So when you're buying one from the big box store, make sure you ask the question, what's the date on this battery? Is it dependable? Sometimes the big box stores have batteries that have been sitting on the shelf for years. Or you can just come to Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable, and buy your battery from the people who only do batteries. Interstate Batteries at 2504 North Madison, Champaign, way out there, but totally worth the drive. How much is dependable worth to you? Interstate Batteries open 6 days a week.
So at what point does, Courtney, the, leverage of winning national championship and Watson and Lawrence wear off? Like for you, what point does that wear off for you?
I feel like it's already worn off because you look at, I know we've thrown the numbers up before, 2015 through 2019, they're 69-5 during that stretch. And then from that point on, so 2020 through 2024, 40-13. Like, what happened to college football that he just like decided like he was either going to like sleep through or not adjust to? It was the fact that the transfer portal came into play. So like, I look at Clemson football through two eras. Like, were those teams great? Absolutely. Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, the best receiver that they had during that stretch being someone named DeAndre Hopkins. That those people aren't coming through the door anymore, especially when you take on the recruiting strategies or lack thereof that he has. So yeah, I will say like those, I can appreciate those teams for what they were, but also realize that those teams are teams from yesteryear, to be frank with you.
Yeah, I think the shine has worn off. So it really is put up or shut up now. And if Dabo Swinney is going to continue to roll with this, we are not getting transfers in, then you can't have 9-win teams like last year. You probably can't even have 10. Now that there's a 12-team college football playoff, you need to get there. With that, you'll look at this Clemson schedule, and the question is going to be this before I answer it, and I'm going to answer the question also. So Georgia's the best team in college football and just whooped Clemson. Is Clemson really this bad, or is Georgia that good? I think Georgia is that good. I don't think Clemson is 3 points bad. So Clemson should beat App State. They probably beat NC State. That'll be a good game. They should beat Stanford. Florida State's going to be a tough game. They should beat Wake Forest. They should beat Virginia. They should beat Louisville. They should beat Virginia Tech. They should beat Pittsburgh. They should beat the Citadel. And they should beat South Carolina. That sounds like they have 2 losses on their ledger. And those 2 losses would be Georgia and Florida State. Sounds like they may end up in the college football playoff.
Will they, though? I feel
2
like
losses, you don't think they'd get in?
With that strength of schedule? Like, take a look at the other team.
Will hurt you. Yes, you're right.
I mean, and the committee's going to be looking at, like, how did you perform in those games that you lost? Were you competitive at all? Did you put up a fight? This is the 4th time ever in Dabo Swinney's 15, 16, 17 years at Clemson that they failed to score a touchdown. That's not just style points, and I know that the committee loves, throwing around whether they actually use that or not as criteria. That's just straight up awful. They have not looked like this in years, this bad in years. And of course, this is the number 14 team in the country. That should carry some weight, and it doesn't because the way that they lost, the fashion in which they played quarterback. I mean, you've got to think DJ Uiagalelei, now the Florida State quarterback, is looking at Cade Klubnik doing the Superman meme, pointing away like, you're me and I'm you. Like, I was really that bad, and now all of a sudden this is an upgrade? And that's not an upgrade that comes via the transfer portal. That's just, they could have handled this in so many different ways. Yet Dabo Swinney, time and again, tells us that we're wrong, that his way is the right way, and that if you just hold on a little bit longer, it's going to play out in terms of, wins and getting this team back to the level of prominence it once was. I want to hear from Shannon Sharp, though. We heard from Dabo Swinney coming on in. Shannon Sharp, first take host, who you'll see throughout this week, now that football season's getting going over on ESPN. He was on the Nightcap podcast, and he had this to say about Clemson's hopes with Dabo Swinney if they're just going to say, bump the portal.
You know another guy? Coach K said, I don't do one and dones. No, that ain't me.
Right.
Until he started doing one and dones.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, join him.
You ain't got no choice.
Dabo, get with the program. You're not that good. You're not that good, buddy. You're not that good. If you think you just going to get high school seniors, and that's what you're going to win with, bro, that's over. It's
not going to happen.
It is over. Everybody else is doing it.
This is, like, what is the number one thing, Keith, that coaches, the most successful coaches do? It's a 2-word phrase. What do the best coaches do when something goes wrong? Or they're failing at something?
Right?
Adapt,
that's the one word
and
I
adjust.
have,
Yeah, so adapting and adjusting. The Coach K example there, in the era that Duke basketball was once in, where Coach K said he wanted 4-year players, that was his philosophy, that's how he came up through coaching. When the one and done era was in play in college basketball, for the first time he had actually bought into that, those teams started winning games. The best coaches are the ones who are able to say, this may not be my philosophy, this may not be the strategy that I vibe with, but I'm willing to do what needs to be done. in order to win in college football. That's what Kirby Smart did. That's what all of these successful coaches, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, taking that program, buying into the transfer portal, and using it to your favor. It's not going to be fun. Recruiting now is the Wild West. This is free agency in college football. You're dealing with agents of players and agents of high school players who haven't even gotten to the college football realm. The best teams are the ones like Alabama, and to a degree like UCLA, the way that they're setting up their programs with these general manager positions that are now handling the transfer portal, that takes it off of the head coach. So if Dabo's worried, and I honestly feel like this is part of it, it's not just the arrogance of somebody who doesn't want to do what everybody else is doing, which is why he's been so adamant that their way is going to work. I think it's the fear of, how am I going to be able to coach my team and manage all of this stuff and be dealing with all of these players who I have to recruit on a week in and week out basis while dealing with their agents, while dealing with their handlers? I can't do it all. I think simply this comes down to, you better have better support staff in place to be able to handle these things, because at some point you can't outrun the transfer portal. And that's been known for a long time with college football and with Dabo Swinney. It's just that, is this going to finally be what gets through to him? A loss like this, a season like this, where they, if they don't get into the college football playoff, is he going to say, I just don't want to do this anymore, take the Nick Saban route and say college football has changed to a point that I don't want to be part of the game? Or will this finally be what gives him, I guess the push is what you'd call it, to adapt and adjust finally by making it somebody else's problem effectively within your program, so you're at least doing it. It may not just fall on you directly and be part of your daily experience as a college football coach.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is I think they still win 10 games this year, so he is going to, Dabo Swinney, going to be able to see it still works. That's what he's going to be able to say. I still come back to this. Like, I know that Arch Manning said, it was tough to choose to stay at Texas, but that's where he wanted to be. Like, if Dabo Swinney and Clemson were in the transfer portal business, like, you should have sold everything you could do to get Arch Manning to be the starting quarterback of Clemson this year. Like, if you put Arch Manning in that spot at quarterback, I'm sure it's a much different team. Like, and that's where, and I'm not privy to the behind the scenes conversations there, but I would have done anything I could do to get an Arch Manning who's just going to essentially sit behind Quinn Ewers for another season and play every once in a while into blowouts.
You limit your options if you're only privy to traditional recruiting the way that we have known it to be through high school 5-star recruits. I mean, you can get a lot of those guys in your program, but you're seeing teams with a lot of experience by bringing inexperience of players that were at somewhere else coming to your school, and then that more instantaneous success happening right away. It's Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Are you ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. We're going to continue this conversation about Dabo Swinney and his fighting of the transfer portal. Are these two entities finally at a breaking point? I want to take your calls on this. Dr. Pepper call-in line is open. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. More on that, plus how concerned should LSU be after their 27-20 season opening loss to USC? It's coming up next on Sportsmanlike ESPN Radio.
Did you know you can watch and listen to Unsportsmanlike on the ESPN app? Just tap more and scroll down to live radio.
It's Unsportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio.
It's ESPN Radio and Unsportsmanlike everywhere you are on the ESPN app.
Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book direct at lq.com.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and sauté. That's Desmond Howard-level versatility.
Huddle up. The food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Gear up for game day with GNC. Just like your favorite college team prepares for their matchup each week, you can get ready to crush your fitness goals with GNC. Your coaches are in stores, ready to help you build muscle like a linebacker or slim down after a tough season. They have everything you need, including all the top brands, the new flavors you crave, the hottest protein, pre-workouts, creatine, and more to tackle your fitness goals. Don't wait for the final whistle. Fuel your fitness at GNC. Visit your local GNC or GNC.com today.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club?
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Flooring Surfaces has a brand new showroom. You'll see beautiful products displayed in new and exciting ways, with inspiration around every corner. Enjoy a modern floor covering experience in a space designed to showcase what Flooring Surfaces does best. Premium flooring options, free design assistance, free expert advice, and professional installation services. Now in a showroom that's easy to shop. Visit today at 401 Mercury Drive in Champaign.
Flooring Surfaces, your first stop.
Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com.
Your favorite Mexican restaurant, El Toro on West Springfield in Champaign, is still open 7 days a week despite the construction on West Springfield. If you're craving those mouth-watering Mexican dishes, just enter from the east. When you see the barricade at Springfield and Kenwood, look for their special driveway. It'll guide you straight to El Toro. El Toro will be serving up your favorites all through the construction for the next 5 months. Open daily and ready to welcome you. El Toro, your destination for authentic Mexican cuisine, even during construction.
Better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. We are a locally owned community bank that has served the area since 1955. Fisher National is rooted in the communities we serve. We pride ourselves on providing financial resources that match or better the mega banks. We are your friends and neighbors who are involved in your communities and take a vested interest in seeing our customers thrive and prosper. Offering a line of rewarding consumer-centric deposits, home mortgages, small business banking, and agricultural lending. There are no compromises banking local with Fisher National. Our convenient online and mobile tools are second to none. We'll work hard to meet your financial needs and earn your trust. Learn more about Fisher National at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches. Our team looks forward to serving you.
Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window. New roofing and siding are a winning combination that can instantly change the look, feel, and function of your home. Our Kramer Siding and Window team takes pride in being an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor, able to offer a best-in-the-business 50-year warranty. Pair it with preservation siding in your favorite style and color, and your home will be a showstopper. Start today and save 10% on roofing and 25% on siding. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Streaming on Hulu. Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
Courtney Cronin, Keith Irizarry sitting in for Evan Canty and Michelle on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. Happy Labor Day. Final day of summer. College football is back in full force. Feels like we lived a whole season in week one. Here to help us break it all down, Dan Mullen, ESPN college football analyst, kind enough to join us after a late night on the call in studio for USC and LSU. And that's where we start. Brian Kelly, in a pretty impassioned, fiery post-game speech, taking a lot of issue with the way that his team showed up on Sunday night. Dan, your takeaway from what Brian Kelly had to say just about the lack of discipline his team showed in closing out an opponent.
Yeah, there were a couple of mistakes that they made, but, you know, he had to be happy with some of the performance. They came out, you know, with Garrett Nesmeyer, the new quarterback, even though he has some experience. I thought they moved the ball up and down the field pretty well. You know, they had a lot of yards. They just didn't finish off drives. They made some mistakes. I thought, you know, that first drive of the game was a big one. They drove the length of the field, got all the way down there. And, you know, for some reason, coaches today don't like points. Just take points, create momentum for your team. And, you know, this is the third year in a row they've lost a close game in the first week of the season, and now they have to come battle back. But, you know, that some of the little mistakes they made, but I thought they still had great opportunities to win the game. And I was probably more impressed with USC than unimpressed with LSU.
Coach, let's go further with that, actually, because it's easy to overreact after a week one win or a loss. So let's just react. USC, your takeaway on them, how good are they?
You know, what I was really impressed with was their defensive performance. And, you know, we knew when you watch a Lincoln Riley team, you know they're going to score points. You know, offensively, that they'll put up some numbers. But LSU came into the game with a veteran offensive line, some talented running backs. And the way that USC, especially in the first half, was able to stop the run was really impressive. And the physicality they played with, that's something that's been lacking the last couple of years.
Dan Mullen, ESPN college football analyst, joining us here on Unsportsmanlike. We've been talking about Dabo Swinney's comments, effectively pointed at the transfer portal and his lack of involvement there, and frankly, not wanting to get involved, and hasn't been for quite some time. When you see the margin of defeat that they suffered at the hand of the best team in college football, but also how they've remained stagnant in their approach to how they're going to handle the transfer portal, how hot would you say Dabo Swinney's seat is at this moment? I know we're at the start of a new season, but how much longer can he continue to buff the notion that he doesn't have to play ball when everybody else is going that route in college football?
Well, it is interesting because you look, and we know Clemson is a team always there to be able to compete for national titles. And you saw the separation, and the separation to me was within the skill position. You know, they played pretty good defense. It was a tight game in the first half. You know Georgia's style, which is we're going to be a defensive team and wear you down over 4 quarters and pull away late. But one of the recipes to beat Georgia is because of the physicality of their defense. You have to win on the outside. You have to have some perimeter players that you can beat them one-on-one and create some explosive plays down the field. And you saw in that game, and we've seen now really over the last couple of years, the lack of explosive talent that Clemson has on the outside. And, you know, when you look at a lot of people in the transfer portal, there's a lot of great skill players and perimeter players in the portal that make impact at different schools around the country. And the fact that Clemson won't go there, I think you see it, their inability to have guys that can score, because they've recruited players, but they have players leaving. And when you have players leaving and no one coming in, when it's kind of a one-way street, you have talent leaving, you don't have talent coming in the transfer portal. I think they're really falling behind in college football.
Coach, how about we go to some of the positives? Week one, we saw some blowout wins. We saw some close wins. Who were some of the teams that really impressed you?
Well, I think you have to start with Miami. And, you know, we've been looking at them and with Mario Cristobal and saying, hey, how, you know, they're a team that usually kind of has a lot of talent, but they make mistakes and find a way to lose some games. with Cam Ward coming in, I mean, you're talking they went in a rivalry game week one, which you don't always see huge rivalry games like that week one, in a very hostile road environment, and they were clicking on all cylinders. And Cam Ward could be the guy. You know, he has enough kind of swagger to him that could lead Miami back to the top, because they certainly have talent all over the field, and now they have a quarterback that kind of has the swagger to put all that together and lead them to the top. I thought they were extremely impressive. The other team to me was Penn State in another similar environment, went into a hostile environment in somewhat a rivalry game. I think obviously the rain and the rain delay at halftime kind of diminished that environment. But Drew Allard, the one thing, you know, we know Penn State over the last couple of years, but they have some great running backs. They run the ball. They have not pushed the ball vertically down the field very well, and I thought they were able to do that and push the ball vertically down the field. And if they can do that, they're going to have an opportunity, to compete for a playoff spot in the Big Ten.
ESPN college football analyst Dan Mullen joining Courtney Cronin and Keith Irizarry here on Unsportsmanlike. Notre Dame and the path that they have to the college football playoff. I know it's week one and we're putting a bow on it here, but it feels like there's two teams you can already pencil in to the 12-team college football playoff. Georgia and Notre Dame, based on what they got out of the way down in Texas, down at College Station, the win over Texas A&M, and then what the rest of their schedule slates to be this year and the strength of that schedule. What impressed you the most about the way that Marcus Freeman's team handled the environment, the game, everything that was thrown at them against Texas A&M? And do you also see their path being as easy as most project to get into that 12-team playoff?
You really do. I think, Notre Dame, you would pencil in ahead of Georgia at this point. I mean, looking at Georgia still has a very tough schedule ahead of them, and, having to, maneuver through the SEC. But when you look at Notre Dame and the rest of this schedule, because especially with the 12-team playoff right now, you're looking at Notre Dame at 11-1. They're going to be in at 10-2. Maybe there'll be some question marks. I think the arguments could come if there's a bunch of teams that have a great year, that there's 10-2 teams out there arguing for that final playoff spot. But you don't see many losses left or on Notre Dame's schedule. I think that win and that ability to go in and win at Texas A&M, I was really impressed with their defense. And it's almost a question of whether you're more impressed with Notre Dame's defense or disappointed in Texas A&M's offense. They did not look good offensively at all. But as you said, Notre Dame only has 2 true road games the rest of the season. They have 3 of their road games are neutral site games. Now they do have a tough trip to USC to finish off the season, which looked tougher than after watching last night's game against LSU than maybe you projected early on in the year. But when you look at that, there's not many road bumps in the schedule, and if there's not many road bumps in the schedule, even with the college kids, if they have a bad day and they lose one, they're still going to be a playoff team. So I think they have possibly one of the easiest paths to the college football playoff as any team in the country.
And an impressive performance from Riley Leonard, the Notre Dame quarterback, who apparently his former head coach Mike Elko had the book out on him, but it wasn't enough for Texas A&M to get the win over Notre Dame on Saturday night. Dan, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for getting up early with us here on Unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, absolutely. We have one more game tonight. College football's not over for the weekend. This first weekend's the gift that keeps on giving. And it's been a great weekend of college football, and hopefully have one more great game with Florida State and Boston College tonight.
The ACC closeout, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can watch that game on ESPN as the Seminoles try to get their first win of the season after a disappointing game over in Dublin in week 0. All right, we appreciate it. Thanks, Dan. That's Dan Mullen, ESPN college football analyst, kind enough to join us here on Unsportsmanlike. Unsportsmanlike presented by GNC. At GNC, they're not waiting on the sidelines. Let them help you build more muscle, lose weight, or hit your wellness goals. Fuel your fitness at GNC. There was something in there that made my ears perk up, Keith. What Dan Mullen said about penciling in Notre Dame over Georgia, over the team that's riding on a 40-game regular season win streak right now into that CFP mix. We're going to react to that coming up next here on Unsportsmanlike ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
This is ESPN Radio.
Uh-oh. God, let us get hot. If you don't want the truth, don't come to me.
On your radio, your computer, your smart speaker, or on the ESPN app.
I have a little bit of cheese fatigue. Like, stop being so great. It's annoying.
We're everywhere you are. This is ESPN Radio.
Illini pizza fans, Jets Pizza has been making the best pizza on the planet for 40 years. They've always been committed to quality, like hand-pressed dough, fresh mozzarella, and sauce made from Mama Jet's secret family recipe. All baked to perfection. It takes more work, but take one bite and you'll get it. Right now, enjoy 3 types of pepperoni with the new Triple-Roni Pizza for just $16.99. And this is a limited-time deal, so visit jetspizza.com. And don't forget to flavorize your crust for free, like their famous Turbo Crust. Jets, better because it has to be.
Pia's, your #1 sports bar and grill with terrific Monday night football specials. Only $4 for 16-ounce light and Coors Light, Modelo and Truly seltzers, as well as Captain Morgan. On Fighting Illini game days, add to the special Twisted Tea and Surfside cans, as well as buckets of Coors Light. Watch Illini games with fans at Pia's and enter to win an Illini football jersey before halftime. Must be present to win just before the fourth quarter. Head to 1609 West Springfield Avenue to party at Pia's.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information, including repair quotes and online scheduling requests, available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Jesse with Lands Underground Solutions. When it comes to your septic system, trust the team at Lands Underground Solutions. Our septic specialists have been working in the septic industry, installing and repairing septics in Central Illinois for over 40 years. When it comes to your septic system, trust the team at Lands Underground for repairs, maintenance, or replacement of your septic. Lands Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circus Sports Illinois. Circus Sports, it's betting the way it should be. Circus Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circus Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com.
Must be 21 or older. For Illinois Problem Gambling Services, please call 1-877-968-7848.
To get into the 12-team college football playoff. Courtney Cronin, Keith Irizarry sitting in for Evan Canty and Michelle on this Labor Day Monday on Sportsmanlike is always presented by Progressive Insurance. We were just talking with Dan Mullen, ESPN college football analyst who was on the late call in studio for LSU and USC last night. A lot of takeaways there from a game that many are already pinning on Brian Kelly as the result of why things played out the way they did. But he also had this to say. When I asked him about the college football playoff, Notre Dame and Georgia, those two teams are teams that Keith and I have already kind of penciled in the month of November when that poll comes out to being in that 12-team CFP. Dan Mullen said, not so fast necessarily about Georgia. Here's what he feels, or who he feels has the best chance to get in right now.
Notre Dame, you would pencil in ahead of Georgia at this point. I mean, looking at Georgia still has a very tough schedule ahead of them. And when you look at Notre Dame and the rest of this schedule, especially with the 12-team playoff right now, you're looking at Notre Dame at 11-1. They're going to be in. You don't see many losses left on Notre Dame's schedule. I think that win and that ability to go in and win at Texas A&M, I was really impressed with their defense. If they have a bad day and they lose one, they're still going to be a playoff team. So I think they have possibly one of the easiest paths to the college football playoff as any team in the country.
What's wild when you look at their schedule, Keith, and that was, again, Dan Mullen, ESPN college football analyst, former Florida and Mississippi State coach, projecting where Notre Dame would be right now if we're looking at the CFP. They only have 2 true road games left on the schedule this season. They got to go to Purdue on the 14th of September, and then they end the season against USC in Los Angeles, which last night might change your opinion on how you view the Trojans. But sure. I have a hard time finding 2 losses. If we're giving us like the 2-loss threshold here as like the most you can have to get into the CFP, I have a hard time finding those in this stretch of games for Notre Dame remaining this season.
So I think with the numbers you look at, and I'm a big strength of schedule, remaining strength of schedule guy, right? So if you're going to do that with the Notre Dame, I don't think they can lose more than 1 game and make the college football playoff. And I'm not sure I see more than 1 loss. So when you look at Notre Dame, their strength of schedule, according to ESPN, is listed as 10. That's not the number I want to look at. It's the remaining strength of schedule that I want to look at. And that's ranked 63rd. So it's a tough-ish schedule, but not, something that's going to blow their doors open and make them lose a bunch of games. On the flip side, for Georgia, strength of schedule, 19, obviously solid, would bolster your resume down the road. Remaining strength of schedule, they have the 3rd hardest remaining strength of schedule, according to ESPN.com, of any team in college football. And again, because that includes, you're going to go to Alabama in week 4, you're playing at Texas in October, and you're playing Ole Miss in November. All teams that we expect to be vying for spots in the college football playoffs as well. So when you really think about it, I think Coach Mullen might be right there. Like, if Notre Dame loses 1 game or none, you might be able to pen them in, not even just pencil them in. Georgia can probably lose 1 or 2 of those games, but it's going to be a much harder road for them to get there.
Yeah, and this is a Georgia team, as we saw the result from that game on Saturday against Clemson. They're a team that's still predicated on their defense. I mean, they held Clemson to 3 points. That has not happened in the Dabo Swinney era, where one of his teams has not scored a touchdown since 2013. That's a pretty big sign, no matter what you think of Clemson and their viability as a good team in the ACC or even college football. But like, Notre Dame feels like a near lock after week 1 based on what they have ahead of them. Like, they got the hardest part out of the way in week 1. And Texas A&M was the number 20 team in the country. We'll see where they end up going in this college football top 25 poll once week 1 finally wraps up. But to deposit a win like this in the early part of the season, where we're looking at how teams are like the body of work here, we're going to look at how a team evolves throughout the season. But like, Notre Dame has to face just 3 teams that were ranked in the preseason top 25. One of them, we don't even know if Florida State's good or not right now. They lost to Georgia Tech in their season opener. They don't play them for a couple more weeks. USC, we think, is good based on what we saw last night and the result from Miller Moss putting up 27 points with this offense and this defense, which was a mess the last couple of years, holding LSU to 20 points. The other one, like, they just took down as 3-point underdogs, was Texas A&M. Like, the hard part, frankly, is out of the way, and the rest of it sets up as kind of this unknown about what those two other programs that still have question marks on them are going to be by the time Notre Dame ends up playing them. On top of the fact that they're road games, as I mentioned, they've got Purdue and USC. Those are two true road games. They've got to play Army at a neutral site, Navy at a neutral site, and Georgia Tech at a neutral site. Like, this might be the easiest strength of schedule of any team that we're seeing that gets into the CFP.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch Listen, I don't know if you play video games or not, but I have been playing NCAA 25 with my sons.
Yeah, what do you think?
And I love the game, and because of playing that game, I'm going to be honest with you, I've kind of fallen in love with Notre Dame. They're really fun to play with on that game. We play it on PS5, and I don't want to sound like a 21-year-old college kid, but now that I'm playing that video game, I've bought into the Notre Dame hype that is my own from the video game.
They're kind of a likable team, and they have not been. It's a brand that you either love or you hate. They're kind of like Michigan football has historically been, and certainly how people feel about Colorado right now. Whether it's the multitude of storylines going into College Station, Marcus Freeman in all these years in where he's finally got a team that feels like it's more than just a blip on the radar, like a team that's going to peak and then fall. Like, and even with Riley Leonard, transfer portal quarterback coming from Duke to Notre Dame, the personality is there, the performance is there, and also they lean on their run game. There was a lot to like about the way that Notre Dame played at Texas A&M, and a lot to like with their schedule going forward and putting them in that CFP mix in just a couple of months. All right. NFL season starts this week. What is more likely, a disappointing or successful season for the Dallas Cowboys?
Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. BetMGM and GameSense for money to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-91-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market. Expire 24 hours from issuance. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Ladies, we have saved a day just for you. Mahomet Christian Church offers a welcoming invitation for each and every one of you to join our inspiring annual women's conference. This year, join us as we will introduce an incredible author, Grace Kachaturian, and her book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. Register today as inspiration will be shared. Saturday, September 7th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your ticket will cover all meals, sessions, and the golden opportunity to listen as Grace's journey will touch your heart and offer a beacon of hope. Mahomet Christian Church's annual women's conference. Get excited, get registered, and get ready for Amazing Grace. The author, Grace Kachaturian. Tickets are just $35 for the entire day's festivities, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Limited space is available, so sign up today. MahometChristian.org. MahometChristian.org.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Do you have great customer service skills and cash handling experience? If so, Prospect Bank could be the place for you. Our Champaign branch is looking for a dedicated, hardworking, friendly employee to join our team. Does working at a dog-friendly bank with great benefits and competitive products and services sound like something for you? Come join me, Jason Bergner, Senior Vice President, and either continue or start your career in banking today. Visit our website at bankprospect.com and click on Careers to apply.
The Dallas Cowboys go this season because the drama that has been percolating underneath the surface for months and months and months, which is self-inflicted drama, mind you, Keith, all of their own doing, we finally get to see the put up or shut up element of this Dallas Cowboys team. Can you make all this noise during the offseason and then all of a sudden sweep it under the rug and expect it to go away during the regular season when the expectations are 12-win season at minimum, get to the playoffs, and oh, by the way, get to the NFC Championship, get past where you have not been with this group. It has been months since we've had a rational conversation about the Dallas Cowboys, which is why we're not going to start now as I ask you about the way that this thing shakes out for 2024 and the expectations that this is either a great season or a complete catastrophic failure of their own doing.
I think that was the best lead-in I've ever heard on radio and television. Like, seriously, like, we think about it, right? Like, because you broke it down perfectly. You said we haven't had a rational conversation about this for months, so why start now?
I don't think we're allowed to. I think we have to, like, hit, like, the quota of unrational, irrational Dallas Cowboys takes 4 or 5 times a day on this show alone because they stir up so much drama, controversy, and headlines, and they don't seem to mind doing it.
It's a reality show, right? And I don't know, are you a reality show person or not?
Somewhat, a little bit of Bravo. That's kind of the guilty pleasure, but it's not like I'm not a binge watcher of it. I just kind of watch it if it's on.
So I don't do the Bravo shows. My wife does. I did do like Jersey Shore. We still watch MTV's The Challenge. Like I didn't
know that was still on.
Oh, it's season 40 right now. It's the Eras. It's literally the greatest reality TV show.
I'm going to date myself here. Is this like Real World versus Road Rules? Is that the same challenge?
It is. It's changed. Okay. It's changed a bunch from then. Yeah, but what I'll say, and I'll get back to the Cowboys in a second. We'll deviate from the plan just a moment. Like this Era's the 40. What they're doing is they brought in like Era 1, which is the first 10 years, then the next 10. The next 10 and the next 10, and they're having them all compete against each other. So like the CTs of the world in the first one.
Throwing out some names.
Yeah, Mark Long is on this season. One of the OGs, whatever. All right. So the reason I bring all of that up is for this. We all, at some point in our lives, have bought into reality television, whether you wanted to admit it or not? Like, how many times have you been like, no, I don't watch the Jersey Shore, but then you knew who the situation was, and you're like, man, that Ronnie, he's crazy, right? Or like whatever you said. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. They're the reality TV show that every NFL fan and sports fan, but every NFL fan, let's say you're a Giants fan or you're an Eagles fan or you're a Jets fan or you're a Bears fan or a Browns, whatever, any team, you're like, oh, I don't pay attention to that. But then you kind of know what Jerry Jones was saying, and you're paying attention to Dak, and you're hearing about CD, and you're seeing Micah Parsons talk on podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So yes, they're the reality show that continues to give to us, and I am here for it. All of the irrational takes. Let's do it.
Well, you can't look away from it. When it's this visible, when they have been this in our face, and it's really no fault of the players. It's not like Dak Prescott. I mean, whenever he's asked a question, I think he's done a tremendous job in answering it. Whatever it is, whether it's about his contract, whether it's about CeeDee Lamb's bag, whether it's about the expectations on this team this year, he's said the right things. It's that these guys keep having to answer for it. And the reason I bring up Dak is because we're ticking down the time of whether he's going to get a deal done before the regular season starts. There are a lot of people who believe that he's never leaving Dallas, that this is going to be all for naught. All of the chaos of, is he staying? Is he going? Is he going to make $60 million a year? Why didn't they pay him when he was worth 50? All of that will eventually go away. But does it go away this week? Probably not, if he knows how to handle his leverage. And there's been a lot of words said back and forth. It almost feels like the parties are not actually talking to each other the way that they're saying things in the media. So I want to start here. Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner, another chance he had to get in front of a microphone after the CeeDee Lamb deal was done, after he goes on alldlls.com and puffs his chest out about being the best general manager in the NFL and that nobody can do it the way that he did. He was then asked about the next big thing that he has on his to-do list, how to handle Dak Prescott's contract situation.
That hasn't changed. We're continuing to, first of all of us focus on what's coming up here in the next 10 days, 2 weeks, opening game, and that takes priority over anything.
So that tells me that Jerry Jones is comfortable waiting, I guess, until free agency. Here's what Dak Prescott had to say in response to what Jerry just said about his contract situation.
How do you feel about Jerry said the negotiation isn't about your merit as the Cowboys quarterback, but more about their cap situation? What do you take from that when he says, it's not really about what you're doing?
Yeah, I understand that. That's the business and the nature of this game that we play. I stopped, honestly, listening to things that he says to the media a long time ago. So it doesn't really hold weight with me.
Okay, there's Dak Prescott putting a bow on it. Does that sound like somebody who's going to be willing to come to the table this week if Jerry Jones is like, hey, let's let bygones be bygones and get this thing done. We want you here long term. Or does that sound like somebody who is willing to say, forget it, I'm going to bet on myself. And if you want me, we'll talk in March.
I don't know. I mean, $60 million will change anything. Right?
You think they'd really bring $60 million to the table right now?
I mean, I don't. But if the Cowboys come with the money, Dak will listen and Dak will probably sign. It is really difficult to move on from the team that drafted you, gave you your chance, and that you've been with for so long. So unless there is so much ill will, I do think there is still the chance that Dak Prescott is back there. On the flip side of it, Dak is going to play out this season, assumingly, you and I both assume that he will not get the contract he wants. And then he will be able to go anywhere he wants. There will be teams lining up for his services because talent-wise, Dak Prescott is right there with some of the better QBs in the NFL. I'm not saying he's Mahomes or any of the top 5 guys, but talent-wise, he puts up the stats, and there are so many NFL teams out there that probably look at their roster and go, if we had Dak, could we win a Super Bowl? Would he be the one that puts us over the hump? And the answer is probably yes. So there will be teams lining up for Dak Prescott.
As this pertains to the season, I'm with you. I have no doubt that he will get paid. He's shown in pressure-filled situations before, like coming off the ankle injury that cut his 2020 season short. He still ended up getting paid. So there's no qualms that all of a sudden he's going to freak out and regress this season because there's the uncertainty of his future. Whether it's the Raiders, whether it's the Saints, whether it's even staying in Dallas, the price might be upped by a lot. He'll be fine this year. How do all of these things play into the storyline that we're talking about weeks from now for the Dallas Cowboys. When you look at their schedule, and they open up in Cleveland on Sunday afternoon. It's the 4:25 America's game of the week. And their schedule is pretty difficult within the first 6 or 7 weeks. They've got Detroit in there. They've got the Baltimore Ravens. It's not a cakewalk. Like last year, their home games and how well they played at home compared to how poorly they played on the road was notable. All of those things factor into how you have to do things differently this season. Like, can this be a team that's like, all right, let's just forget it. Let's forget everything that happened this season and just focus on the now? Or is this a team that is going to try to do that, and then this season ultimately becomes a failure because there were too many distractions that ended up clouding the season and seeping into the way that they had to play games this year?
The Dallas Cowboys are the gift that continues to give. I mean, it actually is as simple as that. So if we're going to talk about whether or not the Dallas Cowboys can figure it out this year, it's going to end up being, do they win 12 games? Probably. And then do they win at least one playoff game, if not two, in the postseason? I'm going to throw something out at you. And you laughed at me before the show on this one, so I'm going to do it anyway. Let's do it on, live TV and live radio. I think there's a part of Jerry Jones that would be okay with this team failing a little bit this year.
Just a clean slate approach.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
And then he can fire Mike McCarthy. And again, I have made a living in the, I have routinely said on the air, on every show I'm at, I don't call for people's jobs. It's just not something I do. So this is me speaking as if Jerry Jones was talking. I think there's a part of him that goes, yeah, if it doesn't work out, I can fire Mike McCarthy, and then I can hire Deion Sanders, and I can trade up to make sure I get Shedeur Sanders, and we will be the toast of the town, and everyone will continue to talk about us. I think there's a part of him that wants that portion. And again, let's now go back to 7 minutes ago, because it would continue being the best reality TV show. Could you imagine Coach Prime for Deion being there with Dallas, and then Shedeur as the QB? Huh. I mean, it writes itself.
That's the entertainment value. And your idea there is not, it's not like I've never heard that before. That idea had been floated.
Really? I'm not a genius and just came up with it? Come on.
No, unfortunately, I think I actually heard it from Chris Carlin, the co-host of Carlin versus Joe
he's
on
a great
ESPN
guy too.
Radio. He's the best. And I remember when he threw this out there, at first I laughed, but then you think about it, because what does Jerry want? He wants entertainment value. He wants to make a ton of money. He claims he wants to win Super Bowls. He claims that this is the thing that keeps him up at night. But is it really? If you're selling a lot of tickets, if you are branded as quote-unquote America's team, whether you agree with that moniker or not, but you are still relevant. You're still being talked about. I always thought about this when I covered the Minnesota Vikings. There are only a handful of teams that truly will do what it takes to be the belle of the ball, to be prom queen, where everybody else is okay just sitting at the cool kids' lunch table in school. They're teams that just want to be mentioned, that just want to be in the mix, that don't actually want to do what it takes, the sacrifices that it takes, the financial restraint that it takes, the financial decisions that sometimes you have to make harder decisions on certain pieces of your roster than others. There's some teams that don't have the stomach for it. I don't know that Dallas Cowboys have the stomach for that, because they're a team that's not very active in free agency. Do they draft and develop better than most? Absolutely. But this is a group that these problems could have been solved months ago, a long time ago. And Jerry Jones continues to let this thing linger. And now the situation they're in is going into week one. The biggest contract that they have yet to figure out is the one that remains incomplete as of right now. I doubt that it gets done this week, because I really hope that Dak doesn't end up throwing his leverage away and just saying, I want to stay in Dallas, because you can do that. It'd be smarter to wait until March to get there. It's Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. Unsportsmanlike is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Speaking of the NFC East, is there a chance Jaden Daniels could take the Commanders to the next level as early as 2024? We discuss coming up next on Sportsmanlike ESPN Radio.
The countdown to kickoff rolls on.
Steam! Touchdown! Oh, baby, give me everything you got!
Only 3 days until the NFL's opening night.
Time for some football, baby!
The countdown rolls on right here on ESPN Radio.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
At GNC, we know motivation can come from anywhere. You could be at the gym, totally focused on yourself and your own goals. You refuse to be gym-intimidated. Maybe you're on a weight loss journey, a new path to change your life. Nothing's gonna stop you. Or maybe you're putting in overtime on those booty goals. No shame to getting those gains round back. You could just be out to prove that when it comes to pickleball, you are a pickle baller. No matter what motivates you, we have the fuel to keep you going. Fuel your fitness at GNC.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
Find the look you love for less at Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Explore their wide selection of quality pieces, from cozy sofas to exquisite dining sets from all the top name brands. With personalized service and expert advice, their team makes finding the perfect piece effortless. Create the home of your dreams with Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Exceptional customer service and the best prices since 1959. Stop by today or visit them online at kelseyfurniture.com.
Here's what new customers are saying about Interstate Batteries.
It's nice to see capable and helpful associates. They did a top-notch job.
They were easy to talk to and explained everything.
Service was prompt and I was a walk-in. Total service time was only like 20 minutes. I highly recommend Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. How much is dependable worth? Experience them for the first time at 2504 North Mattis. Way out there, but worth the drive. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Visit interstatebatteries.com.
Ladies, we have saved a day just for you. Mahomet Christian Church offers a welcoming invitation for each and every one of you to join our inspiring annual women's conference. This year, join us as we will introduce an incredible author, Grace Kachaturian, and her book, It's Okay, Finding Peace in Unexpected Places. Register today as inspiration will be shared. Saturday, September 7th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Your ticket will cover all meals, sessions, and the golden opportunity to listen as Grace's journey will touch your heart and offer a beacon of hope. Mahomet Christian Church's annual women's conference. Get excited, get registered, and get ready for Amazing Grace. The author, Grace Kachaturian. Tickets are just $35 for the entire day's festivities, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Limited space is available, so sign up today. MahometChristian.org. MahometChristian.org.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Unfortunately, there is not a one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is that we can help improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Certain teams can do that because they have one that's really good. Like, for example, the Atlanta Falcons, what they did is a little, people say unusual, but you're looking at the future. He is the future in Washington, and I'm excited for him.
Joe, what do his teammates say about him, especially the wide receivers and running backs and offensive line?
I think they feel the same way. They feel like, you have to know the offense. You have to know what to do. You have to be able to learn how to talk to guys. Everybody has a different style. Some guys glare at a receiver if he drops the ball. Some guys don't say anything. Some guys even take it to a point where they get upset. Jaden just has a really nice demeanor. I mean, he really is. He's like he's built to be a quarterback. He has this really, really nice sense of composure about him that he doesn't get real high, doesn't get real low. He plays the position with a lot of confidence, but yet not arrogance.
Joe Theismann joining us here on Unsportsmanlike. You bring up the intangible stuff that he has, that the Commanders knew throughout their research that they were going to get in trying to right the ship at the quarterback position. 11th different starter since 2019 from an X's and O's perspective, because I remember when Cliff Kingsbury was hired, there was this idea that maybe Washington would try to move up to go get Caleb Williams to pair him with his former offensive coordinator. But the X's and O's that Cliff Kingsbury can use now with Jaden Daniels, how does he open up his playbook, having somebody who, set records for rushing and throwing throughout his college career en route to a Heisman Trophy?
Well, I think if you look at Cliff's time in Arizona, he had Kyler Murray. So, of course, he basically has the blueprints for the mobile quarterback, for the quarterback that can handle things on the move, for somebody who can escape and get out of the pocket. He already has that. I don't think they had the running game in Arizona that we're going to have in Washington. Got some really, really good backs, Austin, obviously, and Brian. There's depth at the running back position. I think they'll want to be able to run the football to a degree where you can protect Jaden. Remember, both for Caleb and Jalen, the 1 and 2 picks, all we've seen is them have success in the preseason. We see them run around making plays. We see Jaden putting the ball down the field, perfect throws. They haven't handled and seen adversity yet. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen when bad things start happening, and they will. It's just the nature of the business and the nature of the position. So, how are they going to handle those situations going forward? That's something I'm curious about, because I know how good they are from a talent standpoint. I know that they deserve to be where they are. I know that they earned the right to be starters. But now, what's the growth going to look like for both of them at that position? In Cliff's case, he has somebody that he's already sort of dealt with in Arizona because of Kyler's abilities to be able – first of all, Kyler throws the ball very well. I think his height does limit him from throwing certain routes because the people are a lot bigger in front of him. But then he moves around. But I think, I think they'll run the game a little – they'll use the running game a little bit more. And then as far as the passing game goes, I think the receivers that we have in Washington, I would match up with most anybody in the league. So he's got to be excited about that.
Joe, you talked about this run game. I want to go a little further on this one. So we know what Brian Robinson is. What do you think Austin Eckler's role is going to be in this offense?
I think, Brian, I guess you could almost call him the hammer. And Austin is the that Swiss Army knife that you can use in a lot of different situations. It reminds me to a degree when I had the fortunate opportunity to play with Joe Washington and John Riggins. Joe was our third down back. Joe was the guy we could get the ball to, and John was the horse. He would carry, he carried us. I think Brian can be that guy, that hammer, and Austin can be that guy that you can put in a lot of different situations and, leave him as a running back. Now, Joe Washington, he used to tell me, Joe, you think Joey, being a smaller guy, wanted to bounce it outside? No, he wanted to run inside the tackles all the time. He wanted to be an interior runner, and he was good at it. And I think we have a little bit of that kind of a combination in Washington at the running back position.
Joe Theismann, Super Bowl 17 champion, joining Courtney Cronin and Keith Irizarry here on Unsportsmanlike. We've been talking about the situation for another NFC East team that has a lot more uncertainty than Washington, and that's, of course, the Dallas Cowboys and what's at stake this season. And having heard from Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott within the last week, Dak saying he doesn't really listen to what his owner's saying in the media, his owner saying that it's not necessarily something Dak has or has not done, that it's their cap situation. I don't know. It's a war of words, if you want to call it that. But how do you feel Jerry has handled these contract negotiations? And because it just feels like a deal is not getting done this week if Dak Prescott's people know anything about leverage.
It's confusing to Dak. It's confusing to us. Jerry will say something, and you try and understand the direction that he wants to go in. I wouldn't say the team. I would say he, because he is the decision maker for the Dallas Cowboys. At this stage, I think as the season starts, Dak's got to focus on one thing, and that's playing quarterback. CeeDee's under contract right now. We don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are going to look like. Over the last 3-4 years, we had an idea. Big offensive line, defense puts a lot of pressure places. Now you've had to change at the coordination positions. And so, what are they going to look like? How does this offense going to suit Dak's abilities? I think, to me, if I'm Dak, do what Joe Flacco did. Play it out. Play it out to the end. I mean, I don't. I realize Dak sort of has said he wants to set the bar, but that's not going to happen. First of all, I don't think Jerry can afford to do that, because you're looking at Micah Parsons probably next year. He's going to have another big contract's going to have to come up. So how much money do you have allocated for those particular positions? I mean, you still have to fund the rest of your football team. I think at some point you just have to shut it down and say, okay, let's go play football. Dak has to say, okay, I'm going to let my people are going to handle this thing going forward. I'm going to focus on one thing, and that's trying to win football games.
Joey,
and, obviously some of the stuff that Jerry has said has been very confusing. Mm-hmm. When you listen to the press conference, and what's he really trying to say? And I don't, I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if you guys could.
Joe, would it be difficult to play in that situation, though? I mean, you played quarterback in the NFL. Would it be difficult to be Dak Prescott in the spot?
I don't think so. I think in anything you're inspired. I think it's a great motivator to know that, you're going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. And you look around the National Football League, there's 31 other football teams. And believe me, there are not 31 other starting quarterbacks at the level that Dak can play at. So there's opportunities. But then he's not. Here's the thing. The other thing that, I was sort of surprised a little bit that nobody talked about is, I think Dak's 31 years old. And so you're at a point where this contract, to me, has to be the big one. Mm-hmm. It has to be the money contract. If it goes 4 years, you're looking at 35 years old, 36 years old, and you're at a point where, who's going to pay you whatever the number is going to be at that point, let's say in excess of $50 million. If the number was somewhere in the 50s, it would have been a deal I think he should have taken. If it's not, I don't know. I have no idea what the negotiations were. But don't try and be the top of the ladder. Hey, Tom Brady, for years, was like middle of the pack when it came to being paid. Unfortunately, we get focused on dollars because they're so big. I want to focus on major wins. You can win 12 ball games, which they have the last 3 years. But what do you do when you get to the money time, the real money time? What happens when you get to the opportunity to be a champion? To me, that's what I think. That's what everybody's looking at with Dak is, well, you haven't been able to quite get there. And so this, to me, I think is a great motivating year for him. I think all he can do is focus on leading his football team. And it's hard to compartmentalize, but put this behind you. If they decide to sit down and if he's off to a heck of a start and they come to the table and say, okay, we want to talk, yeah, you listen. But you cannot have your attention divided and think that you can play at the level that you need to play as a professional quarterback.
I'm sure Jerry Jones wishes that he could have made this work when Dak was in the $50 million range, but The waiting game has continued to drive Dak's price up, and we will see if and when a deal gets done this week, the 11th hour coming up, or if this is going to be something that waits until the offseason. Joe, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us here.
Oh, really great visiting with you guys. Take care, and like I say, have a wonderful Labor Day.
You as
You're the
well.
best, Joe.
That's Joe Theismann, former Washington quarterback, Super Bowl 17 champion, 1983 NFL MVP, joining us here on Unsportsmanlike. Straight ahead, start, bench, or cut. We go into the AFC quarterback edition. It's Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio.
It's a Major League Baseball Labor Day doubleheader. First in Milwaukee, the Brewers face the St. Louis Cardinals at 1:30 Eastern. Then in Arlington, Texas, the Rangers go head-to-head with the New York Yankees at 7:30 Eastern.
What a catch, Aaron Judge!
A Labor Day doubleheader on ESPN Radio.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
On October 21st, 2006, Michigan State found themselves down 38-3 with less than 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they made that initial deficit like it never even happened, scoring 38 straight points to win 41-38.
Incomplete. The ball game is over. The Michigan State Spartans in one of the greatest comebacks in Michigan State football history.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Looking for the best deal on your next vehicle? Visit Sarah Champagne, where your dream car awaits. From sleek sedans to rugged SUVs, they've got it all. Their unbeatable prices and exceptional customer service make car buying a breeze. Plus, with their hassle-free financing options, driving off in your new ride has never been easier. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, Subaru, Buick, GMC. Visit them today. Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, Champagne.com.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
Your favorite Mexican restaurant, El Toro on West Springfield in Champaign, is still open 7 days a week despite the construction on West Springfield. If you're craving those mouth-watering Mexican dishes, just enter from the east. When you see the barricade at Springfield and Kenwood, look for their special driveway. It'll guide you straight to El Toro. El Toro will be serving up your favorites all through the construction for the next 5 months. Open daily and ready to welcome you. El Toro, your destination for authentic Mexican cuisine, even during construction.
Fighting Illini football takes on the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday, September 7th at 6 p.m. Wear orange for the Hail to the Orange Out. It's a family weekend. Bring back the whole family to Memorial Stadium and enjoy an entire Saturday of tailgating and family fun for the big game. Get tickets for the Hail to the Orange Out versus Kansas, Saturday, September 7th at fightingillini.com.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less. When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Ow! A spring just hit me.
Mom, the couch is broken again.
It's about time we get rid of that clunky couch and look into buying a new one.
What about two men in a junk truck? Their professional moving team does a great job assisting with downsizing, home renovations, and clearing out old items you need hauled away.
Wow, it sounds like it'll make much more space in this house once the couch is hauled away.
I just pulled it up on my phone. You can schedule an appointment online at twomeninajunktruck.com.
On Hulu.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Canty and Michelle.
No Evan Canty or Michelle. They're back tomorrow, but you've got Courtney Cronin and Keith Irizarry here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPNU. This show, as always, presented by Progressive Insurance. Gonna have to make some hard decisions now as we welcome in our producer, Pat Costello. Start, bench, and cut, the AFC quarterback edition. I've been stressing over this list for the last 12 hours. Thank you for the homework assignment. I thought that I wasn't supposed to be doing any schoolwork until after Labor Day, Pat, but I digress.
Well, we'll start with you then. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, you gave me the hardest one in the
Let
AFC
her go first
East.
on the hard one. Good.
Oh, like this. Side note, like I definitely still have the anxiety as an adult of Labor Day. Like, when am I going to start thinking like an adult, not thinking that I missed the summer reading or I didn't do a homework assignment and that I have school starting and that it all goes down
Never.
from there.
No. That's going to stick with you forever.
That has literally stuck with me. I'm 34 years old. I've not been in school in a very long time, and I feel that every single time Labor Day rolls around. But I will stop filibustering. I'll give you my start, bench, and cut. I'm going to start Josh Allen because this is the Bills' division until it's not. And yes, a lot of people that we interviewed for our ESPN NFL Nation Quarterback Confidential last week believe that Josh Allen is overrated, and those are players. I don't think he's overrated. I think that he's helped this team win the AFC East in 4 straight years. And the receiving core looks different. This team looks different. But Josh Allen is still the best quarterback in the AFC East, so I'm starting him. I'm going to bench Tua. I think that Tua is a great quarterback in the right circumstances. It will be the right circumstance this year, but I don't, in this circumstance, need him all the time. And I'm going to cut Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, I don't believe that we're going to be getting MVP Aaron Rodgers. Might we need it? I don't know. I don't think that level exists anymore, and I'm not willing to take that gamble on a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles tear.
All right, so two things. Michelle Smallman is going to want to have a word with you.
About to say, she's not going to be happy with that one.
And then, Pat, I would like, for sake of this argument, I want clarification, if you wouldn't mind. So is this start, bench, cut for this upcoming season, for a singular game, or going forward? Can you just clarify for a second?
I don't think Pat knows the answer to
the
that.
upcoming season.
Upcoming season. Cool.
You just made that up on the fly.
Yes, I did.
Good, Pat. That's why you're the best in the biz. So here we go.
Criteria.
I'm going to start Josh Allen because I think he is just the most talented QB of that bunch, okay? And he also gives you the running ability too. You get those touchdowns. I'm going to bench Aaron Rodgers. If it's for this season, I think Rodgers is in a good spot to potentially help that team go a little bit further. And as the person on this show that is over 40 years old, I'm going to roll with the 40-year-old quarterback, and then I'm going to cut Tua. And I don't want to, but those are the rules. I have to cut somebody.
Keith, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson. Start, bench, cut.
I actually think this one is really simple, and I don't know if we need to take a lot of time on this one. You start Lamar Jackson. He's won multiple MVPs. You're going to bench Joe Burrow because he always gets hurt, and you're going to cut Deshaun Watson because I'm not sure he has a right shoulder.
Same. To a T. Let's move on to the AFC South.
Okay, Keith, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson,
What happened to
Trevor
me going
Lawrence.
next? How did you completely skip over me on that one?
Because
we're doing a snake, I thought.
we just blew through the last one. So
because I wasn't going to give you the exact same thing that Keith said when my answers were effectively identical.
But remember, Pat just makes all the rules. So.
Yeah, apparently.
So do we want me to go first?
Go for it. Go for it.
No. I'm going to change the rules as I'm sitting here in the studio.
We're just flying by the seat of our pants
Courtney, you're going first on this. Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you. All right. I am going to start C.J. Stroud because this is an obvious one. Coming off the best rookie season that we've ever seen for a quarterback, there will be no regression. He's got the same offensive coordinator. His receiving core got upgraded when they brought in Stephon Diggs. Their O-line won't be dealing with the same insane rash of injuries that they had last year. No, their defense is pretty good too. I don't want to do this. I'm going to bench Anthony Richardson because I just don't know what I have in him yet, but I do think, injuries aside, 4-game sample size last year, he's still the number 4 overall pick. I want that guy if I need to go to him. And I'm cutting Trevor Lawrence. Generational talent, whatever. We haven't seen it manifest itself in the first couple of years since he was drafted in 2021. I think he's an average quarterback in the NFL. That's how I feel about him and why he is going to get cut for the sake of this exercise.
Line of the day, generational talent, whatever. I am going to start C.J. Stroud for all the things you just said. He came out last year, did everything you could ask for and more, and now you add Stephon Diggs into the mix and hopefully doesn't screw things up for them. C.J. Stroud is my start. I went back and forth on the bench and cut here. So cards on table. I have 2 fantasy leagues that I legitimately care about. I'm in a bunch of them, but 2 that matter. A home league and an industry one. I literally have Anthony Richardson as my starting quarterback in both of those leagues that matter to me. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to bench Trevor Lawrence because as average to above average as he has been during his career, before the shoulder injury, before the concussion last year, he was having an excellent season. Then it went off the rails. And I guess my reason to cut Richardson would be because small sample size.
Sure, that's fair. I think the hardest thing with Anthony Richardson, we've discussed this a bunch during the summertime, is he actually ready to play? Should last year have been that redshirt year for him? Now that you got Joe Flacco on the roster, in theory, you'd like to be able to start him until Richardson shows that he's ready to go, but he's got to be ready to go from week 1 because you wasted the year last year with the injuries. You got 4 games out of him, and the clock is ticking on his contract as he goes into year 2 to figure out what you have there. All right, last one.
Last one. Keith, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Gardner Minshew. Start, bench, cut.
I think the start is simple, and maybe people don't think so. It's Justin Herbert, right? So for all the slander that is thrown towards Justin Herbert, and I know he's had his postseason issues, and I know there's been a lot of meltdowns, he routinely has different coaches and different coordinators or whatever. He's crazy talented. He's more talented than the other 2 guys that are on this list. I have to go with Herbert. Now we get to this part where do you go with the blue-collar Gardner Minshew, who is literally the definition of backup QB that you throw in and you feel comfortable for a few games? Or do you go with Bo Nix in a fantastic situation with Sean Payton, Mr. Efficiency? I'm going to go with Bo Nix. I'm going to keep him on my roster. I'm going to cut Gardner Minshew and his jorts.
And his jorts. Those are a package deal. For the sake of having fun here, I'm going to go ahead and start Bo Nix because there's a lot riding on this season for Sean Payton to prove that he has still got it as a quarterback whisperer and that he got the decision right here. This is supposed to be his Patrick Mahomes, right? At least he led us to all believe that during the NFL draft. Denver, it can't be any worse than it was the last couple of years. I know you're still in the Chiefs division, but I would imagine that Bo Nix and the college experience, 61 starts between Auburn and Oregon, puts him in a better situation than most rookie quarterbacks coming in. We knew this. Sean Payton knew it apparently from the moment he met him at the Combine and during a workout back in the spring that Bo Nix was the guy, so he is who I'm starting. I'm actually going to just kind of throw a wrench in all of this. I'm going to bench Gardner Minshew because you need a good journeyman quarterback. You need somebody who can stick around, you can throw in for a game here or there, a reliable backup who might not be the guy that's going to get you as far as, others can, maybe a couple wins here or there, but reliability and somebody who can bring the locker room together. I'm sticking with Gardner Minshew, and I'm going to go ahead and cut Justin Herbert. 5 years into this thing now, he hasn't won a playoff game. I don't really know where we are with the Los Angeles Chargers. Can Jim Harbaugh be the quarterback, get the renaissance out of him, be the quarterback whisperer that he was for Colin Kaepernick and others at the early points of their career? Maybe. But really, Pat, I just kind of want to throw a wrench in your plans here because I'm sure you were expecting me to bench Justin Herbert, so I will actually end up cutting him.
What did they put in that pasta that you've been eating for breakfast? That's crazy.
You can't cut. So
sorry.
Herbert,
I thought we could all make our own rules here. Keith was going off script.
Well,
Pat's making up rules on the fly.
Rules.
I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing.
I was changing rules to be a good teammate with you, Courtney, because I knew you were supposed to go next.
So you're saying I'm just changing rules and doing crazy things to be adversarial.
Actually, I kind of like you're changing rules.
Right.
I kind of like you're changing rules because it's to bug Pat. So
yes.
Actually, I don't mind your changing of rules.
Keith, great segment.
Oh, thanks, Pat. You're the best.
Good work, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Javonte, I know that you liked my start, bench, and cut. I mean, I'm not the one who literally took one of the quarterbacks out of this from each division. I didn't think that was very fair when you got to determine that without us doing any of the research there. Because, I would have put Patrick Mahomes if you would have put him in there like a normal person.
That's what fun is that? That's why we didn't put him in there.
Pat, great job, Pat.
Thanks.
I'm sure Patrick
really
Mahomes is listening
Pat.
this morning thinking, man, it's like I don't even play in the AFC West anymore. All right, well, summer's over in the eyes of some because football's here. Week 1 of college football, almost in the books. We got Boston College and Florida State tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Week 1 of the NFL, 3 days away with those aforementioned Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Keith, however, does not think that summer ends for another few months. We're going to tell you what his plans are coming up next here on Sportsmanlike ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hey, it's Greeny, and Tuesday is the day. We are back and better than ever in the chair. The football season is upon us, and I will be here ready and raring to go. This is the place to talk football. Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Attention all truck drivers looking for a new opportunity with great pay and amazing benefits. Gale Frericks Trucking has got you covered. Join their team, receive a $4,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $4,000 just for coming on board. Plus, enjoy a $1,200 gross weekly pay guarantee. Drive their state-of-the-art Freightliner Cascadia trucks equipped with a revolutionary system designed to reduce weight and downtime. Get home every weekend and some nights during the week with paid vacations and holidays. They offer company-sponsored health insurance and all the benefits you deserve. Regional drivers get first priority. Don't wait. Apply in person at Dedicated Diesel, 1313 Triumph Drive, Urbana, or call Tim at 765-505-1295. That's 765-505-1295. Start your journey today with Gale Frericks Trucking.
Why use Lands Underground Solutions? We have the team, the technology, the tools, and the most experienced team in the industry. From a basic sewer pipe repair to replacing a sewer main, installing a water line to installing a septic system, installing underground utilities for a new construction project to rehabilitating the old pipes under a school. Lands has the most versatile and experienced team in the industry. Residential, commercial, and industrial, when it comes to your underground pipes, think Lands Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
Solar companies are on the rise, here today and gone tomorrow. Rector Solar and Roofing family roots back 4 generations, living and working in Central Illinois, with the goal to take the confusion out of replacing a roof or adding solar panels to your home or business. With all the incentives and rebates now available, solar is more affordable than ever. Let a knowledgeable representative take the worry and guesswork out of solar and get a free quote. Discover the Rector Factor for solar. Call 217-281-7000 or visit rectorsolar.com. Celebrating 70 years of excellence, the University of Illinois Police Training Institute has been a cornerstone of law enforcement training since 1955. To mark the milestone in 2025, there's exciting community outreach events and unveiling plans to modernize the training facilities. Discover how PTI is evolving and how you can support the future of police training. Visit pti.illinois.edu for details, upcoming events, and donation opportunities. University of Illinois Police Training Institute, also on Facebook and Instagram.
The world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. The Circus Sports Illinois app is ready for action. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
They're different rules. Like when I lived in the Deep South, by the way, Courtney Cronin, Keith Earzary here with you on Unsportsmanlike, Evan Canty, Michelle, back tomorrow. When I lived in Jackson, Mississippi, covering college football, and we kicked off right around the same time that we did this year with week 1, it's 95 degrees until November down there. So how is that not summer?
Yeah.
Versus where we are in the Midwest right now where it's cold.
Summer is my favorite season. It just is. I love the heat. I like, everything about the summer. I do. And, maybe it fits the bald guy too, because I don't really have to worry about hair getting messed up or anything like that. If I'm sweating, I can take a rag or whatever, dry the top of my head. It's not a big deal for me. And the way I view this is pretty simple. Life changed 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
For the Irizarry household. We did an in-ground pool. We had wanted to do one for a while. We put it in. We have the heater on the pool. So I can keep that open for as long as we want. So, my wife had just said, you got a call about getting the pool closed. And I'm like, I'm pushing it off. And she's like, but we don't need it to be open forever. And I said, we're going to keep it open until at least the 3rd week of October. She said, you're crazy. I said, you are correct, but I am holding on to summer as long as I possibly can because the boys will go back to school. My wife is a teacher. She goes back to school. Courtney, we talked about this at the top of the show. Typically, I work nights. So guess what happens at around 9:30 in the morning? I prep for whatever show I'm doing that night, right? Maybe do a load of laundry, help around the house, maybe, meal prep, everything for dinner, right? I'm a really good husband that does all that stuff. Suddenly, it's like 12:30. And guess what? No one's coming home for another 2.5 hours. I don't have anything else to do. Oh, the water is still warm? Let's swim some laps. Oh, it's sunny out today, but only 72? Let's float, because summer goes until I shut my pool. Boom.
I'm imagining this setup as a very bougie backyard. Like, do you have the outdoor TV so you can watch your college football, watch your NFL? I love it. Okay, so like you've got that. You're sitting in the pool. You got your little cocktail on days where you don't have to work, maybe even on days where you do have to work. You have a little fun up until the time you go to Major League Baseball Network. But you're taking advantage of like the season that's still there, even though there is like a timeline as to when it becomes summer to then when it becomes fall. Like, I'm one of these people, because I cover the NFL, summer for me ended on July 19th, which is so bizarre to say, but that's when we went into training camp for the Chicago Bears. Like, I've been in the mode, the grind, for 2 months at this point. So I said goodbye to summer at 4th of July, more or less. Like, am I crazy for doing that? Did I waste a bunch of time when it was still warm out? Okay, that's fair. I have a hard time when you're like in the thick of it. Like, football season's all encompassing. To me, football goes from the day training camp starts all the way until the day of the Super Bowl, more or less. And then you have a couple weeks off before that whole calendar starts all over again. It's hard for me to like do summer, because you think summer, you think free time, you think relaxing, you think not working. Doing summer while doing the NFL, that just doesn't compute for me.
So this is the first thing. You and I have spoken before, but we've never worked together on the air officially, right?
Correct.
And I am a little bit older than you, so I'm going to impart some wisdom.
Thank
to
you.
Okay?
I'm all ears.
So the seasons are about your mind frame, okay? So summer can last as long as you want.
Okay.
I'm just saying whether...
Keith, what?
No, that's a fact. No, summer can last as long as...
So could, if I wanted it to last till December 31st, could it last that long?
Yes.
How? Please explain.
Yeah,
well,
no.
you could live somewhere warm.
Okay, that's not
That's not changing your mind frame. That's changing your location.
Yeah, well, it takes a mind frame to be able to change the location. You have to...
And money.
Know, yeah, money also.
So so you're saying I should move to Miami and cover the Bears from Miami this season? Yeah?
I mean, Courtney, you're so talented that maybe they'll just shift you to cover the Dolphins then. I mean, we
already have a Dolphins reporter. I can't go like cramp his
cover
style
anybody
and like
you want.
punt him out of there.
You could do anything you
Pat,
want.
when does summer end in your mind? Because I feel like you're on the complete opposite and ready to like chomp at the bit on this one.
September. Once it hits September, I'm good.
So you're like me. You're thinking today is the last day of
What
summer.
are you guys going to do when we get that random 86-degree day, September 19th?
Enjoy my pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, wear jeans, wear a short sleeve shirt, and enjoy the fall flavors, because that has been in our face now for a week.
Shorts and a tank top. September 19th.
Jeans, and you have to like still be part of the fall aesthetic. You can't go backwards into your summer wardrobe. There's just like no way to do that appropriately. Because then you like completely set yourself up for failure, thinking summer's still here, because the next day it'll be 56 degrees and you got to put a jacket on and you're back in shorts. It's too many moving parts.
All right, Courtney.
Fall is the best season.
Guys, so what I've
Fall
learned...
is football, so
what I've learned over the last 4 hours or so, I think we all get along very well, but you guys have terrible takes about French toast and terrible takes about summer.
Okay. And apparently I also have terrible takes on who my AFC West quarterbacks are in my start bench cut.
Yeah, but that was fun.
I don't know if
that was
Pat's ever
fun.
going to let me live that one down. That should actually go into your I'm over it for tomorrow.
Javante laughed at it.
Let Evan, Canty, and Michelle know all the things that they missed during the time that they were off. They're back tomorrow. Freddie and Harry are in for Greeny. Coming up next. This has been fun. Happy Labor Day. Enjoy the final official day of summer. And we'll see you here tomorrow on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market. Expired 24 hours from issuance. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Summer may be slowing down, but the deals at Vivid Seats haven't. Whether it's scoring MLB tickets for a night at the ballpark or locking down the biggest matchups for the upcoming football season, Vivid Seats has you covered. With the only rewards program in the game, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats has something for every fan. Catch the deals you want for the games you crave, all backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
That's what you see online, right? Is Angel Reese only rebounds like this, especially on the offensive end, because she gets so many of her own misses.
Rocket met with first-time home buyers to get real about buying a home.
When you don't understand the process, you don't know what steps to take.
There's so many question marks.
I wish there was like a home ownership coach out there.
My name's Austin. I'm an executive at Rocket. We're doing a lot, but we can do more just listening to you today.
Get real solutions to real concerns. Visit realsolutionsatrocket.com or call 800-4ROCKET.
Rocket Mortgage LLC, NMLS number 33, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, equal housing lender license in all 50 states.
Jesse with Lands Underground Solutions. Did you know we specialize in underground sewer, water, and drainage pipes? We install and repair the water lines coming in your house or building and the sewer and septic lines leaving your house. From water lines, sewer lines, or drain lines, or even your septic system, Lands Underground has the solution for your problem. Residential, commercial, and industrial, Lands Underground has a solution for you. Lands Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
The best steaks in Central Illinois belong to one institution, and that's the Long Branch Steakhouse in beautiful downtown eclectic Gifford. I'm Jay Lehman. I'm a regular at Long Branch Steakhouse. I take my wife. I take my kids. I love the fried pickles, fried mushrooms, the onion rings, and of course, the steaks. The ribeye is my personal favorite. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9. Tell Donnie Jay Lehman sent you. Don't forget the mac and cheese. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 in downtown Gifford.
Paul's Machine has served the grain industry for over 40 years. Area farmers need systems to operate at peak efficiency. To get your season startup assistance now with remote and on-site diagnostics and troubleshooting, pre-season preventive maintenance services on dryers, along with sales, installations, repairs, and upgrades, reach out to Paul's Machine. We build solutions. Stay on top of your grain game. Click on Grain in the Capabilities tab at paulsmachine.com.
Whether your project is below ground, above ground, or you're just breaking ground, United Rentals has the equipment and tools you need. They rent and sell everything from forklifts and backhoes to scissor lifts, trench shoring systems, and portable restrooms. They also offer a complete range of industrial tools for any job, small or large. Count on United Rentals for the world's largest rental fleet, backed by a team of equipment experts ready to help you get the job done. For the branch nearest you, visit UnitedRentals.com or call 800-UR-RENTS.
Champion a child in Champaign-Urbana and transform their world. As a volunteer for the I Read, I Count program, you can help K-2 students master the basics of literacy and math while empowering them to succeed in school and life. Just an hour of your week, a few weeks per semester, can help shape the future for our littlest residents. The volunteer deadline is coming soon. Sign up at champaigncounty.org/IReadICount or call 217-359-1791.
As Tapman's Towing